what if you could leave New York after breakfast and arrive in London in time for lunch? What if a business trip from Los Angeles to Tokyo took less time than a modern workday? For a brief, glamorous period in history, this wasn't science fiction. It was a reality, flown aboard the most beautiful and ambitious airliner ever built, the Concorde. But that dream died. It died not because of its speed, but because of its sound. The thunderous, window-shattering sonic boom it created made flying faster than the speed of sound over land illegal across the world. The supersonic age was grounded before it ever truly began. Well, after a 50-year silence, that dream is officially back. On October 28, 2025, high above the California desert, a bizarre and beautiful new aircraft took to the skies for the very first time. This is NASA and Lockheed Martin's X-59, and it is more than just a fast jet. It is a direct assault on the physics of sound, a technological marvel designed to kill the sonic boom and, in doing so, resurrect the future of air travel. This is the story of how NASA is trying to turn a boom into a thump, and why this single experimental plane could be the key to shrinking our planet. Chapter 1, The Ghost of Concorde, Why the Boom Killed the Dream. To understand why the X-59 is so revolutionary, you first have to understand why the Concorde, for all its glory, was a commercial failure. And the answer is the sonic boom. A sonic boom isn't a one-time event that happens only when an aircraft breaks the sound barrier. It's a continuous pressure wave, a carpet of sound that is dragged behind the aircraft for its entire supersonic flight. Think of it like the wake of a boat, but in the air. As an aircraft like the Concorde flew faster than the speed of sound, about 767 miles per hour at sea level, it generated shock waves, which are abrupt changes in air pressure off every surface: the nose, the wings, the engine intakes, the tail. In a conventionally designed supersonic jet, all of these individual shock waves tend to travel downwards and merge together before they reach the ground. By the time they hit your ears, they have combined into two distinct, incredibly powerful shock waves. The rapid pressure change from these two waves is what you perceive as a thunderous double boom. The Concorde's boom was measured at around 105 decibels, louder than a rock concert and powerful enough to shatter glass and rattle buildings. It was, to put it mildly, deeply unpopular. In 1973, the FAA banned all civil supersonic flight over the United States. Other countries quickly followed suit. This was the nail in the coffin for supersonic travel. The ban restricted the Concorde to flying its high-speed routes only over the ocean. It could fly from Paris to New York, but not from New York to Los Angeles. This crippled its market, limited its routes, and ultimately confined it to being a luxurious but unprofitable toy for the super-rich. For supersonic travel to be commercially viable, it has to be able to fly everywhere. And to do that, you have to solve the boom. Chapter 2, The Anatomy of a Thump, How the X-59 Works. For decades, engineers at NASA and Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works, the same people who brought you the SR-71 Blackbird and the F-117 Nighthawk, have been working on that problem. The X-59, part of the Quiet Supersonic Technology or QueSST mission, is the result, and its design is unlike anything you have ever seen. The first thing you notice is the nose. At nearly 30 feet long, it makes up almost a third of the aircraft's entire length. It is impossibly long, thin, and sharp. This is the primary weapon in the war against the sonic boom. This needle-like nose is designed to gently pierce the air, creating a much weaker initial shock wave than the blunt nose of a traditional jet. But the real genius is in the overall shape of the aircraft. Every single surface has been meticulously sculpted using decades of computer modeling and wind tunnel testing. The canards, the wings, the engine placement, everything is designed to generate its own small, separate shock wave. The key is to prevent these shock waves from merging on their way to the ground. By keeping them separate, you prevent the formation of that massive, powerful pressure wave. So instead of two massive booms hitting the ground, the X-59 is designed to produce a series of very small, very weak pressure waves that are spread out in time. To a person on the ground, this won't sound like an explosion. It will sound like a gentle sonic thump. How quiet are we talking? NASA's target is a sound level of just 75 perceived level decibels. That's comparable to the sound of a car door closing from 20 feet away, or the faint rumble of distant thunder. It's a sound that would likely blend into the background noise of any normal city or suburb. The design is so extreme that it even creates a unique problem for the pilot. They can't see out the front. That incredibly long nose completely blocks the forward view. To solve this, Lockheed Martin developed the External Vision System, or XVS. It uses a series of high-resolution cameras mounted on the front of the aircraft to create a panoramic, augmented reality view that is displayed on a 4K monitor in the cockpit, essentially creating a virtual forward window. Chapter 3, Can You Hear This? The Mission. The successful first flight on October 28th was a monumental achievement. It proved that this radical, computer-designed shape is stable, controllable, and can actually fly. But flying is only the first step. The real mission of the X-59 is not to break speed records, it's to collect data from people on the ground. This is the most fascinating part of the program. Starting soon, NASA will begin the community overflight phase of the mission. They will fly the X-59 at supersonic speeds over a series of carefully selected communities across the United States. This is a science experiment on a national scale. On the ground, NASA will have arrays of highly sensitive microphones to measure the exact sound signature of the sonic thump. But more importantly, they will be surveying the residents. They will be asking thousands of people simple questions. Did you hear anything? If so, what did it sound like? Did it bother you? This human response data is the entire point of the X-59. The goal is to collect a statistically valid, scientifically rigorous set of data that proves a quiet supersonic aircraft can fly over land without disturbing the public. Armed with this mountain of data, NASA will then go to the FAA and international regulators. They will present the evidence and make the case to rewrite the rules. They won't be arguing based on theory. They will be arguing based on the real-world experiences of thousands of American citizens. The goal is to create a new, sound-based standard for supersonic flight, one that regulates not the speed of the aircraft but the loudness of its boom. It's important to be clear. The X-59 itself will never be a commercial airliner. It's a purely experimental, single-seat aircraft. It is a key designed for one purpose: to unlock a door that has been closed for 50 years. If NASA's mission is successful, if they can convince regulators to change the rules, it will spark a renaissance in commercial aviation. Companies like Boom Supersonic, which is already developing its Overture airliner, are waiting in the wings. They are counting on the X-59 to clear the regulatory path for them. The result could be a world where global travel times are cut in half. A flight that takes 7 hours today could take 3.5. A 12-hour flight could take 6. The tyranny of distance that has defined human travel for our entire history could be fundamentally broken. The elegant, beautiful Concorde proved that supersonic travel was possible, but its thunderous voice meant it was a dream that the world wasn't ready for. Now its quiet, strange, and brilliant successor, the X-59, has taken to the skies. It doesn't have the glamour of the Concorde, but it has something far more important: a plan. A plan to prove that the future of flight can be not only faster, but for the first time, peaceful.